This book delves into the essence of our existence and how we perceive time and life itself. Imagine living every moment fully, so that the past and future no longer control your mind. You can, and the concepts contained in this book are very simple, but do not let that fool you and push you to ignore them without any thought. These concepts, despite their simplicity, are profound. This is what Eckhart Tolle invites us to discover in The Power of Now. How can we escape the limits of time, overcome the pain of the past, and embrace the present moment? Be open to receiving this topic. Do not let your opinions, beliefs, and judgments prevent you from accepting what the book teaches. All you have to do is put them aside and try to think of the possibilities away from prejudices. Tolle says that happiness is inside you. It is just that your mind is filled with noise to the point that you cannot hear happiness because you are too busy with fears of the future or regrets of the past. Can you say that you are living a full life? Have you ever spent a moment without worry or interest? Have you ever focused only on the present? The first idea is you are not your mind. To illustrate this idea, Tolle tells us the story of the beggar. Once upon a time, there was a beggar who had been living on the sidewalk for 30 years. One morning, when a stranger passed by, the beggar lifted his hat and asked, "Sir, can you spare some money?" The stranger replied, "I don't have any money to give you." He noticed that the beggar was sitting on an old box. The stranger asked, "What is this?" The beggar replied, "It's just a box. It's been here for a long time." The stranger asked, "Have you ever opened it to see what's inside?" The beggar replied, "What's the point? It's probably empty." But when the stranger asked, the beggar decided to open the box. To his surprise, he found the box he had been sitting on for many years was filled with gold. This story illustrates that we are all in many ways like beggars. We look at the world from the outside and never try to look inside ourselves. We often forget that there is a treasure inside us. There is a treasure that no one can provide for us. The real gold is inside you. Just take a moment to look inside. But how will you open the box that you own? How will you bring out the gold hidden within you? First of all, you have to realize that you are not your mind and not your thoughts. We have come to believe that the mind and its constant flow of thoughts is who we are. But we are much more than that. You may notice that your mind is constantly chattering. The voice in your head speculates, complains, judges, compares, etc. We usually think and worry about the future. If we don't, we replay past events in our minds. We are human beings, and despite our efforts, we cannot easily forget our past. Our minds frighten us about the future and control us to the point that we fail to appreciate our present. This is the real cause of our suffering. We invite sadness into our lives ourselves. Our thoughts and mental dialogues are compulsive and have taken over most of us. The scary thing is that we do not even realize it. Eckhart asks the reader, can you free yourself from your mind at any time? Have you found the stop button? Can you stop the flow of harmful thoughts? If the answer is no, then you are identical with your mind without being aware that it is using you. You may not realize it, and you may say, well, if I am not my thoughts, then what am I? This question is the beginning of self-discovery, awareness, mindfulness, or whatever you want to call it. So how do you approach realizing your truth? Tolle explains that the mind is a powerful tool that can be very useful if used correctly. The mind can solve problems, plan for the future, and process information. But when the mind becomes the master rather than the servant, it can become a source of suffering and anxiety. Tolle stresses the importance of awareness of the mind that watches thoughts and encourages the reader to observe their thoughts without getting caught up in them. Consciousness can observe thoughts without judging them, which reduces the power of negative thoughts. Tolle addresses the concept of the ego or false self, which is the identity we create through attachment to thoughts and beliefs. This false self is fueled by negative thoughts and feelings of inadequacy. When we realize that this ego is not who we are, we can begin to break free from it. Tolle offers a practical way to begin to separate awareness from the mind through the practice of meditation. He recommends that the reader sit in a quiet place and focus on their breathing, noticing the thoughts that arise without interacting with them. You should begin to listen to the voice in your head as much as you can. Instead of consuming or identifying with your thoughts, you should take a step back and observe them. Just try to create some kind of separation from yourself and your thoughts. It is very easy to get caught up in the constant stream of thoughts that your mind is constantly presenting, but just do your best to be able to catch up with the stream of thoughts and notice what is happening. Make a game out of it, as if you are pretending to watch something on a screen in front of you. Watch your mind, its reactions, its thoughts, etc. After you have done this for a while, ask yourself if you notice any recurring thought patterns. Do this without making judgments. Listen impartially throughout the day and notice what your mind is doing. Once you start accepting that you are not the thinker, you will be able to see the thinker in your mind more objectively. When you watch your thoughts, you will discover that there is a higher level of awareness that you are aware of. That higher level of awareness is you. Over time, as you get better at watching your thoughts, you will feel a deeper awareness and presence. This idea is that the mind naturally tends to constantly think about the past or worry about the future, which makes us lose sight of the present. Tolle explains that the challenge lies in calming the mind and returning to the present moment. We must realize that thoughts are not the truth. They are just mental flows that can be observed without getting involved in them. Eckhart Tolle focuses on how to enter the present moment, or now, and indicates that living in the present moment is the key to achieving inner peace and getting rid of anxiety and negative thoughts. The present is the only moment we really have. The past is a collection of memories and thoughts that cannot be changed, and the future is just expectations and imaginations that may not come true. Real life happens in the present, and living in it helps us feel peace and contentment. One of the most important techniques that Tolle offers to enter the present moment is focusing on breathing. Breathing is a natural process that always occurs in the present. When we focus on breathing, we refocus our mind on the present moment. This technique can be used anytime we feel anxious or stressed. Another technique that Tolle offers is focusing on the feeling of the body. We can direct our attention to physical sensations, such as the feeling of the feet on the ground or the hands, which are moving. This type of body awareness helps bring attention to the present and calm the mind. Tolle emphasizes that the practice of presence should be part of our daily lives. We can allocate short moments during the day to return to the present through breathing or feeling the body. Over time, this practice becomes a habit that helps us live consciously in the present moment. He emphasizes the importance of living in the present moment and how this approach can radically change our lives. Through techniques such as focusing on breathing, observing thoughts, and feeling the body, we can calm the mind and return to the present. Tolle explains that the mind naturally tends to escape from the present and think about the past or the future. This evasion of the present can be due to boredom, pain, or anxiety. The mind uses these strategies as a means of protecting the self, but in reality they increase suffering. Tolle adds that the mind likes to create stories and identities linked to the past and personal experiences. These stories can be negative or positive, but in both cases, they distance us from the present. We tend to cling to these stories and use them as a reference to understand our identity, which reinforces the false self. The mind tends to cling to negative emotions such as anger, sadness, and fear. These emotions control our thinking and prevent us from living peacefully in the present. These feelings must be noticed without getting involved in them, which helps reduce their negative impact. The mind also likes to judge and classify things and people. These judgments prevent us from seeing the truth as it is and distance us from the present. When we judge things, we create stories and identities associated with these judgments, which increases the influence of the false self. There are several techniques for dealing with these mind strategies. Tolerance and acceptance are powerful tools for confronting the mind strategies. When we accept the present as it is without resistance or resentment, we reduce the influence of the false self and live in peace. Tolerance of the self and others helps free us from negative thoughts and stuck feelings. Tolle encourages us to search for beauty and enjoy the present moment. We can find happiness in simple things if we are consciously present. Eckhart Tolle explains the concept of the pain body and how to eliminate it. The pain body is a collection of psychological pains that we carry within us as a result of our past negative experiences. Tolle discusses how to recognize the pain body and deal with it consciously, achieving inner peace. The pain body is a term used by Tolle to refer to the negative psychological accumulations resulting from our past experiences. This body includes feelings of anger, sadness, fear, and anxiety that have not been dealt with properly and have accumulated over the years. He explains that the pain body can be dormant for long periods of time, but it becomes active when a person encounters negative experiences or feelings similar to those that caused pain in the past. When the pain body becomes active, the person becomes a prisoner of negative feelings and acts on those feelings unconsciously. The first step in eliminating psychological pain is to recognize the pain body. This can be done by noticing negative feelings and thoughts that appear repeatedly and that seem greater than the current situation. The pain body can also appear through negative interactions with others or feelings of discomfort. Continuous internalization is a powerful tool for dealing with the pain body. It is the practice of being present in the present moment. When we are consciously present, we reduce the power of the pain body and gain control over it. We can practice presence by focusing on breathing or feeling the body, which helps calm the mind. Bringing attention back to the present, the author encourages forgiveness of oneself and others as part of the healing process of the pain body. Connecting with the true self instead of the false self is an essential part of eliminating the pain body. The true self is the deep awareness that witnesses thoughts and feelings without being involved in them. Tolle stresses the importance of continuing to practice presence and awareness to overcome the pain body. This is not a process that happens overnight, but rather an ongoing practice that requires constant commitment and awareness. Eckhart Tolle explores how being present in the present moment can positively affect human relationships. Tolle begins by explaining that relationships reflect what is inside us. Partners or friends often reflect the qualities we like or dislike about ourselves. When we understand that others reflect aspects of our personality, we can use relationships as a tool to get to know ourselves and grow in self-awareness. He points out that the ego plays a major role in relationships. The ego is always seeking attention and appreciation from others and seeks to maintain the image we want people to see of us. This constant quest for appreciation and affirmation makes relationships full of conflicts and tensions. When we become attached to someone or place unrealistic expectations on them, we become unable to see the person as they are. This leads to disappointments and conflicts. By reducing attachment and expectations, we can allow relationships to be more natural and flexible. Tolle differentiates between true love and emotional attachment. True love is a state of being and being fully present with the partner without trying to change or control them. This love is free of ego and attachment and gives the partner freedom and space to grow and develop. By reducing ego, reducing attachment and expectations, and living in the present, we can experience healthy, balanced relationships. Tolle concludes the book by emphasizing that awakening to the present moment is the key to finding peace and fulfillment. This book offers practical tools to help us recognize the ego, live in the present, and break free from the control of the mind. By practicing awareness, we can break the chains of negative thoughts and emotions and connect with the deeper essence of our true self. Every moment is an opportunity to experience the present and be fully alive. By understanding and applying these principles, we can live in peace, joy, and love. Finally, if you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.